Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Dan Hiscock, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Renee Boss. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Return and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Service Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Listerfield Primary School from Listerfield, Victoria, and Larnook Public School from Larnook, New South Wales. Now, if you're able, I invite you to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, students. Please be seated. You can sit down. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Leslie Campbell Coleman. Leslie Coleman was born on the 19th of October 1917 in the Brisbane suburb of Wynham, the son of Samuel and Jenny Coleman. By the time of the Second World War, he was living with his parents in Southport, a suburb on the Gold Coast, where he worked as a garage assistant. Coleman enlisted in the militia on the 11th of September 1940 and was allotted to the 61st Battalion. After attending a 70-day camp at Chermside, a northern suburb of Brisbane, during which he trained and received a range of inoculations and vaccinations, in March the following year, he attended a 90-day camp. In September 1941, as the strategic situation in the Pacific worsened, Coleman and other members of the battalion were called up to provide full-time service for the duration of the war. The battalion was brought up to its full strength of 910 personnel of all ranks and began training at Chermside in anticipation of deployment. On the 13th of November 1941, Private Coleman was classified as a signaller. On the 27th of December, Coleman was among a group of 4 soldiers from Chermside camp, plus an RAAF member stationed at Archerfield. The group were returning to Brisbane from the south coast when their car crashed down a 15-foot embankment early on Saturday. Coleman, who was seated next to the driver of the car, received severe head injuries and was killed instantly. The other 4 were injured and were taken by ambulance to hospital. Leslie Coleman was 24 years old. Today, his remains lie buried in the Southport Cemetery in Queensland. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Leslie Campbell Coleman, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We'll leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub of Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over, but in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the Memorial's development project. Wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.